Hello, friends, and welcome to Post-Mormon Parenting. Today I want to talk about creating defining moments for our kids. I feel like this is something that the church does really well, creating memorable, defining moments in our lives that we might feel like we're at a loss for in creating for our kids outside of the church. So let me start with talking about my first temple experience. So when I was, I guess I must have been around 12 or 13, our youth group was going to take a temple trip together. We were going to drive to Washington, D.C., since that was the only temple available in our area. It was going to be a long drive. We're going to go there, spend the night in a hotel, some Marriott, I'm sure, in D.C., and then do baptisms for the dead first thing in the morning, and then get out of there, back in the cars, back on the road, and be home by late afternoon, I guess. We packed up all of our stuff and climbed into our cars, and I was really, really excited because my older siblings had done temple trips, and I'd heard about them, and I'd heard about how fun and how great of experiences they were. I've heard the young men and young women come back from a temple trip and bear their testimonies about how wonderful of an experience it was. And I was really excited that it was my turn. I was going to see what it was all like. I was pumped. I was ready to go. The energy was just so contagious, right? We're driving in our cars, we're singing songs. And this was around the time that President Hinckley had said, "Don't be a scrub." And we're all like, oh, President Hinckley made a pop culture reference. He's so in touch. He's so cool. And that song came on the radio. No, I don't want no scrubs. Scrub is a guy who can get no love from me. You guys my age, you remember that song. Anyway, so we were all singing that song and a bunch of others that were popular at the time. Anyway, so we get to the hotel, we have a pizza dinner, there's an indoor pool and a hot tub, and we are just living it up. We stay up really late, we get up before dawn, drive on over to the temple, and since it's like really early morning, everything is really quiet, even like the traffic going up to the temple. And when you go to DC, the interesting part of the drive is that it looks like you're going up this hill and the temple's like right there in the distance. And the highway turns, but it looks like everything is beautiful. We go in, everything inside the temple is pristine. It is so beautiful. We go into this little chapel type area. There's pews, there's some hymnals, there's some scriptures, and I think a leader says a couple words and kind of gives some instructions. And from that little chapel area, there's just great big windows so you can see the font. And like, I've seen a baptismal font before, but I'd never really seen in person a temple baptismal font. And I'm just like blown away by all the architecture and the beauty and the really detailed craftsmanship and the symbolism. And the font is sitting on those 12 oxen below it. And you can see people as they go and do the baptisms, right? For those that don't know, and this is like, I'm not revealing any kind of temple secrets or anything. This is public information. You can go online and see pictures of stuff. And as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we believed that we could get baptized for people who were dead, who never got the chance to be baptized, because everybody needs to be baptized to be saved in the kingdom of God. So what do people do who never got a chance in life? Well, we get to do it for them by proxy. So it was this really, really great big honor. Really, really took it seriously. I get dressed. I go sit on the bench near the font and wait for my turn. I go in. The water's nice and warm. They say the words. I get dunked. And I think it's like 5 to 10 times. And then I get out, I go get changed and like blow dry my hair. And all of us girls are in the locker room like, this is so fun and so nice. And, being all loud. And then like a temple lady came in and was like, shh, you ladies have to be quiet. all the hair dryers are going at the same time. It's really loud in there. But it was so fun, like, to share this bonding experience. It was kind of like a rite of passage, like a coming of age. Now I'm 12 years old. I get to do this really cool thing that I've been looking forward to for years now, that I've heard lots of stories about, and now, like, I get to be a part of it. I get to be in it. And that felt really, really good. After my turn was done, I sat back down in the chapel area waiting for everyone else to finish with their turns, and just really admired the beauty there inside the temple. It's hard not to feel really, really peaceful and calm in a place like that. It's so beautiful inside. It's so quiet. Nobody's wearing any watches. There aren't any clocks. It's like time doesn't matter. Nothing else in the world really matters at this moment. Everything is on pause. So it really gives you this opportunity to be very, very present and very in the moment. So I still remember that trip, and it was a really defining moment for me. I recently finished a book called The Power of Moments by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. And in this book, the authors talk about how defining moments in life can be spontaneous and serendipitous, say catching a fly ball at a baseball game, or seeing your future partner and it's just love at first sight, or they can be created. And I feel like as members of the church, we had tons of these kinds of meaningful, memorable moments in our life that were created by our leaders and our parents, and gave us opportunities for making some serious memories, gaining some insight, bonding with other people, and feeling proud of ourselves, proud of our community. I mean, think about advancing in the next office of the priesthood, or going to girls' camp, or getting set apart for something, going to a mission farewell, receiving your endowments for the first time, getting baptized and confirmed, blessing your baby at church. I mean, the list just goes on and on. The church is really, really good at creating lots of moments like this over a person's lifetime, where they have a chance to sit back, reflect, they have a chance to celebrate something, and like take pride in something, be recognized for something. I mean, I still remember our young women recognition nights, where I got to display the things that I'd been working on for personal progress, and celebrate with the other girls what they'd been working on, things like that. So now that we're not going to raise our kids in the church, there's this worry that, like, they're going to miss out. They're going to miss out on some things that actually were really quite fun for me, and character building and positive experiences. So how can I provide that for my kids? Well, in their book, The Power of Moments, the authors give this formula for how to create defining moments like this. And there are 4 elements that they describe. The first element is elevation. That means that the experience has to elevate you from the everyday normal. It has to break the script. It has to be different. There's refreshments. There's maybe different smells. There's different things to see, especially, going to the temple. Talk about a totally new sensory experience. The second element is pride. Pride over something that you've done or a group that you're part of, pride for your country, pride for your church, pride for your community, pride for yourself. That's another element in creating defining moments. The third element is insight. These moments can provide you with some kind of aha moment that, this is new to me. I never thought about that before. I never saw it that way before. Now my life has kind of a little bit of a new trajectory. I have maybe a new paradigm. Those can be really memorable experiences. And the fourth element is connection. Memorable moments can make you feel really connected with people around you. So creating a defining moment doesn't have to have all 4 elements. It can have 1 or 2 or 3 or all 4. But the idea is that you have at least one element to create this defining moment. So as I think back on my temple experience, it was elevation. It was definitely a break from the normal, what I would be doing on a Saturday morning. And the environment was completely different. The sensory input was completely different. Number 2, pride. I felt really proud of myself for getting there, for being temple worthy, and being able to join the group. And like I was part of the team now. Number 3 insight. Actually, I don't know if I gained a whole lot of insight other than like, oh, so this is what it's like. And the before connection, I felt this really great bond with all the people around me. When you take a road trip with people and you're like blasting the radio and singing all the songs together and doing funny things and playing games in your hotel room and then doing like a really serious, what feels like a very dignified and honorable thing together too, in doing service for people who are dead, that builds bonds as well. So 3 out of the 4. How can we as post-Mormon parents create defining moments for our kids? Let me give you some ideas. The first one is multiplying milestones. In the church, there's a lot more milestones than we would have outside of the church, right? There's baby blessings, faith in God awards when you're in primary, and then advancing in new classes in primary, getting baptized at age 8, moving on to young women and young men at age 12, advancing in the priesthood, or moving to a new young women class. Actually, like moving to a new young women class doesn't usually come with a lot of pomp and circumstance. So for us as post-Mormon parents, let's think about the ways that we can multiply milestones. And what I mean by that is that we find ways to celebrate things that we might not really think about celebrating otherwise. For example, moving up into a new grade level at school, working on a new hobby. During this coronavirus quarantine time, probably you too, but I definitely have seen lots of before and after pictures of people's closets, right? People are all emptying out their closets and finding time to like improve the space where they live. But it's really, really cool to see it side by side, the before and after. Have you ever considered doing a before and after with your kids when they say start a new hobby? Like here's you right at the beginning of baseball, like here's when you could barely hit the ball, and here's 3 months later, here's a video of you doing it 3 months later, here's another one 9 months later, here's one 12 months later. And so we can like see the progression and being able to create those milestones that aren't necessarily there, but like you put them there, you create them, and how those can be moments of pride for your kids as they see their progression in a video or pictures. Another way to multiply milestones is, say you're working on creating some habits with your kids. We're working on that right now with one of our kids. But let's say for the sake of example, let's say your kid constantly leaves the table without putting their dishes in the sink. Okay, so we're gonna set up a chart, right? And we're gonna say for every time you do it correctly and you remember to do it, you'll get a sticker on your chart. And when you get 10 stickers, you're going to level up. You'll get a prize, and then you'll go up to the next level. And then it'll be a little bit harder on the next level. And then you'll get another prize corresponding to the difficulty of that level. So really difficult, really cool prize. And then you'll level up and go to the next level, right? This has been really helpful with our son, and it actually has been really quite successful where nothing else was being successful. It's like taking sticker charts to just like another level. Anyway, so you get to celebrate these like micro achievements, like, yeah, you put your dishes in the dishwasher for the 20th time. Celebrating little achievements that you wouldn't necessarily think to celebrate. Another thing to consider when you're wanting to create defining moments for your kids is, what kind of coming of age or rites of passage do we want our kids to be able to go through? Something like this is easy to skip over, but I'd say don't underestimate the power of a rite of passage and how that makes a person feel so much more bonded to their community, whether that's their family or extended family, or however you're going to define your community. Having a rite of passage really helps a kid feel that distinction of like, that was the old me, this is the new me, these are my people, here's how I'm bonding with them. For example, I think it would be really cool to do a red tent party for my daughters when they get their first period. I think that would be a really neat way of honoring them, honoring what they're going through, honoring our bodies, and honoring the other women in our community as we welcome our girls into our club, so to speak, that like you're even closer to us now because of this common thing that we bond over. And I also love the message behind it of thinking back to all of our mothers and grandmothers before us, right? This is something that connects us to them. Whether or not my daughters wish to have children someday, I think it's worthwhile for them to recognize that they're not here because some deity put them here. They are here because they come from a long, long, long line of women before them. And I think that would be a really great way of casting their minds back, recognizing that they are part of something bigger than themselves, recognizing they are part of the community. And this is one way to help them bond. I'm still not sure about my son, what I'm going to do for some kind of rite of passage or coming of age for him, but I've got a few years to think about it. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. We're not really like into hunting or anything, so I feel like the typical coming of age thing like that wouldn't really work for us. Anyway, let me know what you guys are doing in your families. I really want to know. I'm really, really interested in what other cultures do, so I've got a lot of reading to do, and I'll let you know what I find. So now let's talk about creating defining moments on random days. One of the things that my dad used to do for us kids is if he was grocery shopping and he saw at the bakery some of their cakes were on sale, he would grab one, bring it home, pick one of us kids and say, today is your unbirthday. So I don't know if you guys remember from Alice in Wonderland. Alice goes to the Mad Hatter's tea party and they're singing about a very merry unbirthday. So that's kind of where this idea came from. And it was just really exciting. It was really special. One time we had a friend from school coming over that day, and my dad happened to bring a cake home, and he said, "It's your unbirthday!" And we all sang happy unbirthday to you, and we ate the cake, and it was really fun. And she told me afterward that that was really special for her, and that felt really good. Try saying yes once in a while. Again, not always. This is the spice of life, not the main entree. But where you might normally say no, try saying yes. If you're out at the gas station and your kid asks you for a slushie and you always say no, one day say yes. If you are stuck at home and you're trying to get some work done and your kid really wants you to play with them and you usually say no, try saying yes. And let's play that video game that you love so much and you can teach me how to do it. How mind-blowing would that be for your kid? That would be mind-blowing for my kid. I'm really not interested in any of his games, but I could just imagine the flood of good feelings he would feel if I said something like that to him. So things like that can be totally random. Taking our kid out of school. If we ever get to go back to school, who knows? Because that's on all of our minds. When school starts, you can pull them out of school unless you're homeschooled. Oh my gosh. Whenever things go back to normal, you can pull your kid out of school for the day and surprise them and take them somewhere. When I was a little kid, some of my older siblings would take us on nothing trips. It was called that because as you're leaving the house, all the other siblings would be like, "Hey, where are you guys going? Where are you going?" "I want to go." "Nothing. We're going nowhere." It was a nothing trip. And it didn't matter what we were doing, whether we were running to the post office or going to the candy store. It didn't matter. It was just fun. It was fun to get out of the house. It was fun to be doted on by an older sibling. One of my very favorite memories was when one of my older sisters took me out on a nothing trip. And we drove not very far, just to a nearby playground and then parked in the parking lot. And then she surprised me by producing my favorite box of sugary cereal, which we never got in my house. So milk and bowls and spoons. And we just sat there in the car eating this cereal together. It was so cool. It made me feel so good. I had her complete undivided attention, and she thought about me and what I would want and the kind of cereal that I would like. So let's go back to talking about our elements. This experience, this eating cereal in the car with my older sister, goes back to element number 1, elevation. This was totally out of the norm. This was a really great sensory experience. It was in a totally different environment. It really broke the script. This is not how you're supposed to eat breakfast. Also hit element number 4, connection. This was an amazing time that I had my sister's complete and undivided attention. and we just talked and ate our cereal. I felt really, really bonded with her after that. And for a long time, she was my favorite sister. Sorry, other sisters, but she was. So again, those 4 elements that Chip Heath and Dan Heath describe in their book, The Power of Moments, are number 1 is elevation, number 2, pride, number 3, insight, number 4, connection. So as you think about creating defining moments for your kids, and as you're starting to plan what you can do for them, a few tips to keep in mind. Number 1, novelty is the spice of life. It's not the entree. As human beings, we crave predictability and structure and security and stability. But we also really, really, really hate boredom. And all of those things that we crave about life can also get very, very boring. So then you add in that you just punctuate life with these extra fun things. Making these defining moments happen can bring so much joy into life and help you be in the moment and help get us out of some ruts and boredom that we can get stuck into. Also, really try not to stress yourself out over all the little details. If it's fun for you to plan a birthday party and stay up all night long beforehand, working on the cake, putting up the decorations, planning a treasure hunt, making the piñata, and having this transformed house when your kid wakes up in the morning, which is really fun and can be totally worth it. If that's fun for you, go for it. If that's stressful and makes you feel like you need to pull your hair out, don't do it. This time that we're in right now, across the world, and I think especially in the US, where we are just terribly hard hit by this pandemic, every day can feel like Groundhog's Day. That, that movie with Bill Murray, he wakes up, every day is the same. It's the exact same thing every single day, day in and day out. Nothing feels different. Try doing some of these things. Try creating some new thing. Try breaking the script and doing something different, and see how refreshing and regenerating that can be. See how much that can make you feel alive and help your kids really feel alive as well. Please, please, please let me know what kind of things you guys are coming up with. I'll be honest, this kind of stuff is really, really difficult for me. I'm more of a type A, not very creative kind of person. I'm very organized. I'm super good at sticking to routines and lists, and this is me, right? Is it on the list? If it's on the list, we do it. If it's not on the list, I got nothing. Please send me your ideas. I really want to know, and I really want to learn from all of you, and I hope this has been really helpful for you as well. Good luck to everybody. We're all in this together. Keep washing your hands, keep maintaining social distancing, and all the things that can help prevent the spread of disease. Be safe. Be healthy. Till next time. Mwah. Take care.